Have you ever felt like you're lost, like no matter what you do, life keeps pulling you into confusion, emptiness, or silence? You wake up every day asking yourself, where am I going? Why does everything feel meaningless? But here's the truth. You are not lost. You're simply standing at the most important crossroad of your life. This moment of uncertainty isn't a dead end. It's a signal, a whisper from life itself, telling you, it's time to begin a new chapter. In the next 30 minutes, you will discover that this lost feeling is actually the doorway to clarity, courage, and purpose. So ask yourself now, if today is your chance to rewrite a chapter of your life, where will you begin? Stay with me, and let's walk this journey together. Have you ever looked at your life and felt as if you were standing in the middle of a foggy road, not knowing where to go next? You wake up every morning, but instead of excitement, there is a heavy silence inside you. You do the things you should do, work, responsibilities, keeping up appearances, but deep down, it feels like you are moving on autopilot, like life is happening to you, not for you. Maybe you have moments when you stare at the ceiling late at night, your chest heavy with questions you cannot answer. What am I really doing with my life? Why do I feel so lost, even though I have achieved what others might call success? Why does everything feel meaningless, like I'm drifting without a map? It's painful, isn't it? Because you don't want to admit this feeling to others. To your friends, your family, your colleagues, you put on a smile. You say, I'm fine. But inside, your heart is whispering, no, I'm not fine. I'm tired. I'm confused. I don't know where I belong anymore. You look around, and everyone else seems to be moving forward, friends posting about promotions, weddings, new houses, exciting adventures. And you feel stuck. You wonder if you've fallen behind, if you've missed your chance, if you're simply not enough. And yet, here's the truth you may not have heard before, you are not lost. What you are experiencing is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new one. The emptiness you feel is not a void, it is space being cleared for something greater. You see, life has this way of leading us to crossroads. And often, the crossroads feel like confusion, like despair, like being lost. But being lost and being at a crossroads are not the same thing. One is hopeless. The other is full of potential. Right now, you are not hopeless. You are standing at one of the most important crossroads of your life. If you're listening to this, maybe you've been carrying silent battles for far too long. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign, for some kind of clarity. This, right here, right now, could be that sign. Not because I'm telling you what to do, but because the fact that you are here, searching, listening, means your soul is still fighting for a new chapter. So, let me ask you a question. A question that might sound simple, but could awaken something deep within you. If today was your chance to write a brand new chapter of your life, where would you begin? When we feel lost, the first instinct we often have is to judge ourselves. We think, something must be wrong with me. Other people seem fine, why can't I figure it out? Maybe I'm weak. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe I'm broken. And this harsh self-talk only makes the emptiness grow louder. But let's pause for a moment. Let's truly ask, why do so many people, especially adults in the middle of their lives, suddenly feel like they've lost their direction? It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're incapable. It's because of the invisible weight you've been carrying. You see, life doesn't prepare us for this. When we were younger, society handed us a script: go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, get married, build a family, buy a house, move steadily up the ladder. And maybe you followed that script. Maybe you ticked off some or even all of those boxes. But here's the thing, no one ever told you what happens after. No one prepared you for the silence that comes once you've checked the boxes yet still feel empty inside. That silence is terrifying. Because deep down, it makes you wonder, if I've done everything I was supposed to do, why do I still feel unfulfilled? Some people feel this after years at a job that pays well but drains their soul. They wake up, go to work, sit in meetings, deliver projects. On paper they're successful. But every Sunday night, their chest tightens because Monday is coming. They've been climbing the ladder, only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. Others feel it in relationships. Maybe you've stayed in a relationship or a marriage because it was safe, because it was what you thought you had to do. But deep down, something feels missing. The companionship is there, but the spark, the meaning, the sense of being truly alive together, it's gone. And you wonder, am I settling for less than what I deserve? And then there are those who feel lost even without any big problem. Maybe nothing is terribly wrong. Your job is okay. Your health is okay. Your relationships are okay. And yet, that's the problem. Everything is okay, but nothing lights you up. It's as if life has turned into shades of gray, predictable, numbing. And part of you aches for color, for passion, for something that makes your heart beat faster again. Do you see the pattern here? Feeling lost doesn't come from failure, it comes from disconnection. You've been running on a path that maybe once made sense, but somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling like yours. You're living a life that looks fine on the outside, but inside, it doesn't fit anymore. And yet, because no one talks about this openly, we end up blaming ourselves. We scroll through social media, comparing our behind the scenes to other people's highlight reels. We convince ourselves that everyone else is moving forward, while we're stuck. But the truth is, more people feel this way than you think. They just don't say it out loud. Let me give you some real-life examples. A man in his mid-30s, working in a corporate job for 10 years, suddenly wakes up one morning and can't remember why he's doing it anymore. He goes through the motions, but inside, he's screaming for a sense of purpose. A woman in her late 20s achieves the dream she thought she wanted, the promotion, the salary, the apartment. But instead of joy, she feels a quiet emptiness. She realizes she was chasing validation, not fulfillment. A parent in their 40s gives everything to their family, only to look in the mirror one day and ask, who am I beyond my roles? Do I even know myself anymore? These stories aren't rare. They're everywhere. They might even be yours. So let's name the problem clearly. You are not broken, you are misaligned. The life you're living and the life your soul longs for are out of sync. That tension, that restlessness, that sense of being lost, is actually the friction between who you've been told to be and who you truly are. And when that friction gets too loud to ignore, it manifests as exhaustion, sadness, confusion, or even apathy. You stop feeling motivated because your inner compass is screaming, this isn't the road anymore. It's time to find a new one. The tragedy is, most people interpret this signal as failure. They think it means they've wasted their life, that they've messed up. But in reality, it's a sign of life itself. It's your soul knocking, asking you to pause, to listen, to realign. That's the real problem. Not that you are lost, but that you've mistaken a crossroads for a dead end. Now that we've named the problem, the question becomes, what do we do with it? If feeling lost is not the end but simply a signal of misalignment, then how do we realign? How do we move forward when everything feels blurry, uncertain, and overwhelming? Here's the first truth I want you to hold on to: you don't need to have all the answers right now. So many people stay stuck because they think they must figure out their entire life's purpose in one night. They pressure themselves into finding clarity, as if clarity is a destination you arrive at, perfectly complete. But clarity doesn't work like that. Clarity grows. It grows from small steps, from trying, from listening to yourself along the way. Think about it this way: when you're driving through the fog at night, your headlights don't light up the entire road ahead. They only light up a few meters. And yet, if you keep moving slowly, those few meters are enough to get you all the way home. Life works the same. You don't need to see the whole map. You just need to take the next step that feels true. So, instead of asking yourself, what's my ultimate purpose? What's my 10-year plan? Try asking smaller, kinder questions. What makes me feel alive, even just for a moment? What did I lose myself in as a child, before the world told me who I should be? What is one small thing I can do today that feels nourishing to my soul? These questions don't demand big, dramatic answers. They just open a door. Sometimes the way back to yourself begins with the smallest acts: picking up a hobby you abandoned, taking a walk without your phone, journaling your thoughts, calling someone you trust, sitting quietly with a cup of tea and asking, "What do I need right now?" Don't underestimate the power of small actions. Big changes are often born from tiny, consistent choices. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight, but with patience, light, and water, it grows roots. Your new direction in life is the same. It doesn't require you to burn everything down and start from zero. It requires curiosity. It requires listening. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone who has been stuck in a job that drains them. They don't need to quit tomorrow to fix it. Instead, they can begin by asking, what small part of my day brings me joy? Maybe it's writing, maybe it's helping others, maybe it's problem solving. From there, they can experiment, volunteering, taking a class, starting a side project. Over time, the picture of a new path emerges. Not from one giant leap, but from following the breadcrumbs of joy. Here's another truth: you don't have to compare your journey to anyone else's. Your path is not supposed to look like your friends, your siblings, or that influencer you follow online. The moment you stop measuring your worth by someone else's timeline, you free yourself to walk at your own pace. Some people discover their calling at 18. Others at 48. Both are right on time. And please remember this: being at a crossroads is not weakness, it is courage. It means you are aware enough to pause and honest enough to admit something doesn't feel right. Do you know how many people go through life ignoring that voice, numbing themselves, pretending everything is fine? The fact that you're asking these questions proves you are awake. So, where do you begin? Start small. Start where you are. Here are a few gentle practices you can try. Create space for reflection. Even 10 minutes a day of journaling or sitting quietly with your thoughts can reveal patterns and desires you've ignored. Write without judgment. Let the truth flow. Reconnect with curiosity. Try something new, not because it's practical or profitable, but because it sparks curiosity. A dance class, a new book, a creative project, learning a skill you've always postponed. Listen to your body. Your body often knows what your mind refuses to admit. Notice when you feel heavy, drained, anxious. Notice when you feel light, excited, peaceful. Let those sensations guide your decisions. Surround yourself with voices of encouragement. Sometimes we're too close to our own struggles to see clearly. A supportive friend, a mentor, even a community of like-minded people can remind you that you're not alone. Allow yourself to not know. Give yourself permission to be in transition. You don't have to explain your uncertainty to anyone. You're allowed to be in progress. The direction will not come in a lightning bolt, it will come gradually, through these daily choices. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the fog has lifted, not because you forced clarity, but because you kept walking. So here is the shift I want you to remember: you are not lost, you are unfolding. This season of uncertainty is not a punishment. It is preparation. The soil of your life is being turned, so new seeds can take root. And maybe, just maybe, what feels like the end is simply the invitation to begin again. Stories have a way of reaching us in places logic cannot. So let me share with you a story, not about someone extraordinary, but about someone ordinary, someone who could easily be you. Her name was Anna. Anna was 36 years old when she hit the wall. On the outside, she had done everything right. She had a stable job in marketing, a small but comfortable apartment, and friends who thought she had it all figured out. Her social media showed vacations, coffee dates, occasional achievements at work. But inside, Anna felt like she was drowning in slow motion. Every morning, she woke up with a heaviness in her chest. She would scroll through her phone before even getting out of bed, comparing herself to strangers. She worked long hours, but the projects she handled no longer sparked her interest. They were just numbers, campaigns, deadlines. She told herself she should be grateful. After all, many people wanted the security she had. Yet, gratitude felt forced, hollow. One night, Anna sat at her kitchen table long after dinner, staring at the empty plate in front of her. Tears began rolling down her face without warning. She whispered out loud, "Is this it? Is this my life? Just surviving day after day until I'm too old to care." That was her breaking point. But here's the thing about breaking points: sometimes, they are also turning points. The next day, Anna didn't quit her job or pack her bags for some dramatic adventure. Instead, she did something small. She walked into a bookstore after work. She had always loved reading as a child but had abandoned it somewhere along the way. That evening, she picked up a book on personal essays by people who had rebuilt their lives. She went home, curled up on her couch, and began to read. For the first time in months, her heart felt a flicker of warmth. That small act became a thread. She began writing in a notebook, just scribbles at first, things she noticed, how she felt, fragments of memories. Writing made her feel lighter, as if the weight inside her had somewhere to go. Weeks turned into months. Anna kept showing up to her job, but she also kept showing up for herself. She enrolled in a short evening class on creative writing. She met people who, like her, were searching for meaning. Slowly, she started to feel less alone. Then one day, a friend from her writing class asked her to contribute a piece to a small online blog. Anna hesitated. Who would care about my story? But she sent it anyway. To her surprise, strangers commented on how her words resonated with them, how they felt seen. That night, she cried again, but this time, the tears were different. They were tears of release, of realizing that her pain could serve a purpose. Fast forward 2 years. Anna didn't become a famous author overnight. She didn't quit everything and live a picture-perfect new life. What she did was more profound. She allowed herself to realign. She transitioned into freelance writing, balancing her marketing skills with her love for storytelling. She wasn't rich, but she felt alive. Her mornings were lighter. She laughed more. She met people who valued authenticity over appearances. And one day, looking back, Anna realized something important: she had never truly been lost. She had only been standing at a crossroads, waiting for the courage to choose a path that was hers. Her story is not about perfection. It's not about sudden miracles. It's about listening, daring to follow small sparks of joy, and trusting that those sparks lead to fire. And maybe, as you hear Anna's story, you realize it mirrors your own. Maybe you, too, are sitting at your own kitchen table, wondering if this is all there is. Maybe you're waiting for a sign. And maybe this is it. And now, as we arrive at the closing moments of this journey together, I want you to pause, and take one slow, deep breath. Because everything you've just heard, the struggles, the doubts, the stories, the truths, they are not just words. They are mirrors. Reflections of what you might have felt in silence for so long. And the very fact that you stayed until this moment means something. Deep inside, a spark of belief still lives in you. You see, when people say, you are lost, what they really mean is that you're not walking the same straight road everyone else seems to be walking. But maybe that's not a failure, maybe that's the proof that your life is meant to be different. That your soul is calling you toward a path no one else can see yet. Think about it. What if this season of uncertainty is not punishment, but preparation? What if the confusion, the restless nights, the endless questions are simply shaping you for the version of yourself you are about to become? Because transformation rarely feels comfortable. Growth rarely feels clear. The most important chapters of your life rarely begin with certainty. They begin with chaos, doubt, and that trembling question in your heart, where do I go from here? And maybe, just maybe, that question is not a sign of weakness, it is an invitation. An invitation to finally step out of the shadows of what others expect and step into the light of what you truly desire. So, as you walk away from this video, I want you to carry one thought: you are not lost. You are simply at a turning point. The kind of turning point that people only recognize years later when they look back and realize, that was the moment everything changed. Do not be afraid if the road ahead looks uncertain. Do not be afraid if your steps feel shaky. Remember this: bridges are not built overnight. New paths are not mapped in a single day. But every small choice, every tiny step forward, every yes you whisper to yourself in the dark, those are the stones that will build the road toward the life you've been searching for. And if ever you doubt, if ever you feel the urge to give up, I want you to return to this question. If today is the chance to write a new chapter of your life, where would you begin? Let that question stay with you. Let it guide you. Let it challenge you. Because sometimes the right question is more powerful than the perfect answer. And I will leave you with this final thought. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are exactly where you need to be, to take the next step that only you can take. This is not the end. This is your turning point. And from this moment on, you get to choose the story you want to tell.